Moving on to Mazda. Mazda for 2024. Let's get into these June sales and first half sales because I think we have some records being shattered for Mazda. Second best June sales ever at nearly 36,000 sold. Best ever sales of CX-50. Best ever June sales of CX-90. Well, yeah, I mean, these are newer vehicles, so they're going to be more likely to have best ever June months. Best ever sales for CX-30 and best June in CPO program history. Mazda's like the only company that talks about certified pre-owned. All right, so year to date's on this right column, month to date over here on the left. Mazda 3 has had a return, up 16% on the year, but down 2%, nearly 3% on the month. The sedan has recovered, but the hatchback has not. All right, hatchback sales are down. Let's get into Mazda 6. Oh, doesn't exist anymore. Rest in peace. Why do you leave it in here, Mazda? Is this an Easter egg? Should we expect a Mazda 6 to be coming to record some numbers in these tables? Don't do that to us. If there's nothing to report, no new sales of the Mazda 6 for years now, why is it still in here? Just delete it and we can move on. All right. But I just made a video recently in how I've given up hope on the Mazda 6. Miata down 28% on the year, down 10% on the month. They switched over to the ND3. I just saw an ND3 yesterday, the press fleet vehicle. It was a Grand Touring with kind of the beige interior, and it had like a grayish silver outside. It was pretty. The ND3 is a masterpiece for Mazda and their little roadster. CX-30 has just been killing it this year, up 31% on the year. 2% on the month. CX-5, don't know why it's down so much. I think it's down because they're finally having enough meaningful volume from the CX-50 built in Alabama that they don't have to import as many CX-5s from Japan. CX-9, rest in peace. CX-70, we now have some meaningful volume here on the market. They've sold 1,000 so far of the CX-70. Still haven't driven it. Technically, it's the same vehicle as a CX-90, just with 2 rows of seats and a slightly different exterior and interior styling. It's the same vehicle. CX-90, killing it. Look at this. Okay, I want to look at CX-70 sales, less than 900, and the CX-90 for the month of June is at 4,700. Just the CX-90 is a very good 3-row vehicle, and if it's priced at the same price of the CX-70, which it is, just go get that 3rd row. Just get that extra 3rd row. It's added in for free. Maybe that would help resellability too for families that want to buy a used Mazda CX-90 in a couple of years. Mazda overall doing well. They're up 8 to 9% on the year and up 20% on the month. So Mazda is one of the few brands that is picking up momentum right now as we head into the second half. It's really surprising that they're up 20% on the month of June, where we saw even Toyota was down 1%, but Toyota has their own demons to work through, like we've mentioned previously. All right, moving on to Subaru. Subaru, June and Q2 sales of 2024. First half sales increased 6%. Best ever June for Crosstrek Solterra. Outback remains top seller in 23 consecutive months, yearly month-over-month growth. What was it, 2022 that Subaru was in the pits? They hit rock bottom after the pandemic. They were just smacked down to the ground, and they've had a slow rise. It's still continuing their win streak here. What do we say, 24 months? 2 years straight? Almost 24 months, 23 months, and they barely nabbed it with a 0.1% positive for the month of June. All right, so here we go. Subaru's up 6% on the year, about neutral on the month. Ascent, this vehicle's, I almost guaranteed it's going to be discontinued when Toyota starts building for them in Kentucky a 3-row EV that's going to be shared with the Highlander EV. BRZ, sales are down on it. They've sold 243 for the month of June. If we go back to Toyota with the GR86, it sold 1,500. They sold 1,500. Why this huge difference in sales? Well, I see it as Subaru doesn't see enough demand and volume from the BRZ end. I can think of one reason why, even though it's built at the Gunma plant by Subaru, the BRZ is uglier than the GR86. Simple as that. Like, I find the GR86 to be a near perfect looking, affordable coupe. The BRZ is just, it's not styled as well. And that's just my personal opinion. That might not be why it's down so much, but It seems that Subaru does not want to build a lot of BRZs. They would rather build Toyota GR86s due to maybe where the demand in the market is. That's all I can think of. Crosstrek up 4% on the year, about 10% on the month. It's their second best-selling vehicle, right behind the Outback, which has sold nearly 17,000. Now, the Forester is leading sales so far this year. It's up 51%, about 13,000 units above the Crosstrek and about 11,000 units above the Outback. Watch my new Forester review. Had a lot of fun with it. It's just ungodly slow. It needs to have the turbo engine that's in the Outback and the WRX, for example. Or better yet, how about a hybrid? Where are the hybrids? Subaru, aren't you like 20% owned by Toyota? They're coming. They showed something recently, but yes, the Forester hybrid won't be coming probably until first half of 2025 at this point. That's okay. Their sales on it are still good. Impreza, down 16% on the month, down 22% on the year. Gosh, it's just the Impreza is supposed to be fun to drive and it handles well. It's great road manners, but it's not fun. Like it's just comfortable. I'll just say that. Well, Legacy's just been canceled as well, down 21% on the month, 21% on the year. It's done. It's dead in the water. Rest in peace, Legacy. Outback, up 4% on the month and about neutral on the year. Their best-selling vehicle. Solterra, up 115% on the month. The Solterra, I just reviewed it recently as well. The Solterra, it's a good EV for the lease prices. You can get it at around $300 a month. I'm also reviewing another EV this week, which is the Nissan Ariya. So stay tuned for that. But Solterra is a very good car if you're just driving around town and if you can get a killer lease deal on it. Leasing is the name of the game for EVs. WRX, down 40% on the month, 43% on the year. Again, Subaru will see, hey, these cars are sitting around an X amount of time on the lots, and they'll just cut production on them. They're happy to cut production on things like the Ascent, the WRX. They don't want to overproduce due to that, because if they overproduce, they'll have to incentivize to move those cars, and they don't want to do this. And that's why we see big drops in Impreza, Legacy, WRX, BRZ, and Ascent. Subaru might just end up being a crossover brand. Mitsubishi is a crossover brand at this point. We'll see. Time will tell.